Going on, guys? We are back at you with another Locked On Wizards podcast episode. On today's episode, we have a mailbag for you guys. After that 35-point debacle, I know you guys have a lot of questions. So, Ed, let's get right into it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is going on, guys? Deolante Daniels and Ed Oliver back at you guys with another Locked On Wizards podcast episode. We want to thank you all for making Locked On Wizards your first listen each and every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Now, before we get started with the mailbag, Ed, it's a couple things we want to talk about before. But first, there was a quote from the Quentin Mayo podcast. Do you want to enlighten the folks about that?
Yeah, so he said that he got a text from a Wizards player saying that it feels like the inmates are running the asylum, talking about the team and the locker room. So just want to get your take on that quote.
You can kind of tell. I mean, a lot of times on the court, it just seems like guys are doing whatever they want to do. We talked about guys doing a bunch of stuff that they aren't used to doing anyway, but they do it anyway because why not? And then it's tough for Wes, man. It's really tough for Wes to deal with this roster full of vets. And, I mean, you're losing. And then you have veterans on top of that, and you're a rookie head coach. So then you start to worry about, are the guys not buying in? Are they simply just not listening and not buying into what Wes has to say? It's just, I mean, I'm not shocked to hear something like that because we look at the product on the court and you look at how the team has been struggling and you look at how certain players play, you can kind of get a sense of some of these dudes just doing whatever they want out there.
Yeah, it does look like that way. I mean, I've been bringing up like the past couple of days with guys fighting each other, KCP and Trez and Denny and Davis. Whenever a player, this is kind of like an anonymous source type thing. I can't stand those. Whenever you get the anonymous source type things, that's when you know your team is in trouble. When the locker room's imploding, when stuff leaks and things get out, that's when you know it's bad. And a loss like this is where you do lose a locker room. We had stuff before with Trez talking about the offense that, even a blind squirrel can find a nut or whatever, trying to get the basketball. Everybody needs a touch. Spencer talked about the offense, and Wes is a rookie head coach, like you said, so it's tough for him. It's still a learning experience, and this is a team with a lot of vets. It's not just like it's a bunch of rookies like we're the Pistons or the Oklahoma City Thunder. These are guys, KCP just won a championship not too long ago. Kuzma won a championship not too long ago. Trez is sixth man of the year, so Davis just got paid. Bradley Beal's looking to get paid. Thomas Bryant is an established player as well. So there's a lot of egos on the team, a lot of people who have, put up some numbers, some good numbers, solid numbers in the league, and they're looking for their minutes, and they feel entitled to their minutes. And so a lot of guys do deserve minutes. It's an 11-man rotation right now. So it's not the easiest situation for Wes Unseld Jr. either. Before the season even started, there was a players-only meeting held by Montrezl Harrell. So it's just a lot with veterans that just have egos, and there's only one basketball to go around.
Yeah.
And it starts out tough with the leadership too, Bradley Beal too. He's got to be a vocal leader, and he's not really much of a vocal leader. So I can definitely see where maybe KCP, Trez, and some guys and Bradley Beal himself are probably doing their own thing, or there might be some cliques and some friendships and buddies and different groups and whatnot. I hate to speculate, but you can just kind of tell the body language in the games, the fights, and all kinds of stuff. So I hate to say that Wes Unseld Jr. is losing the locker room. We saw last year with the Pacers, that coach got fired after just one season because he didn't have control of the locker room or whatever was going on there. So, but I would hate for that to happen under Wes Unseld Jr. So it just looks terrible right now. It looks really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, this has really been bad. And the Wizards' record, if you look at it and compare it to this point where they were in like years previous, even last year, is like, oh, you would think, oh, it's not that bad. Like, they're still close to 500. They aren't 14-30 or something like that. But that 10-3 start did a lot for this current record right now. Like, without that 10-3 start, they will probably be around that 14-30 something range. I mean, you look at Tankathon, I think right now they're like in the 9th spot right now in the lottery. So it's looking rough, and winning cures all, but they ain't winning. So the problems are just going to get worse and worse. Like you said, we have consistently heard different players have their critiques of just the offense and rotations, etc. So if they feel like West isn't doing what needs to be done, maybe they feel like they might as well just take it into their own hands.
Right, yeah. The roles aren't defined. I think Kuzma said that too. The roles have not been defined. Last year, I know a lot of people hate on Russ, but they had a players only meeting, and Russ went around and was like, everybody needs a role. And then once they did that, we went 17-6. So yeah, guys just don't know their roles. A lot of people trying to do too much and just fighting over minutes. So it's just a cluster right now, and hopefully they can make some trades and whatnot. So, but yeah, also the last 2-minute report. I know you heard about that, but kind of is like, who cares? We let a team come back from down 35. Who cares? Yeah. Of course, the ref is going to be on their side after that. Of course, So I don't even blame the ref for calling a foul on that, to be honest with you, because shame on the Wizards for giving up a 35-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, and it's no the Wizards got robbed. It's no, well, of course, bad refs and whatnot. The Wizards have had their running with refs and questionable calls in the past, but none of that matters, man. When you blow a 35-point lead, like I tweeted this and I said this, it's hard to blow a 35-point lead in 2K. That's a video game. So how can you blow a 35-point lead in the National Basketball Association? I don't know how you do it. It's so all that last 2-minute stuff, I think it's stupid anyway, because I think it just, what does it do? Like, it doesn't change anything. The calls don't get reversed. Nothing happens to the refs. What is even the point of telling us that you messed up when we kind of felt like you messed up already, outside of just making us more upset? I don't get the point of the last 2-minute report. But, I mean, regardless, none of that matters. That performance in general is pathetic, and I'm glad they got 2 days off to really sit on that and let it milk. It's no, all right, we got a game today, all right, we got a game tomorrow. Nah, sit on that. Wake up and still be mad, just like Wizards fans were today. They woke up and was still upset because we still in shock at how they lost that game. We just don't know.
Yeah, I was so upset. I'm not even wearing my Wizards hat today. I'm wearing the Washington football team, which is not much better. But honestly, I feel like the Washington football team, I have more pride wearing this hat than wearing the Wizards hat. That's how down bad I feel as a Washington Wizards fan at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Washington football team ain't embarrass you as badly, as far as blowing the lead. It's not like, if they was up 40-something in the game or 35 and they lost, they ain't do that. So they ain't that bad. But before we get into our mailbag, guys, we do have a message from our friends over at BetOnline. BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. New year and new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, Ed, I know we have some questions. Wizards fans, I understand why you got a lot of them. So let's get right into them, Ed.
Yeah, so we got some questions about Wes Unseld Jr. so far. Just want to thank you guys for putting in questions. We got questions on Twitter and on YouTube. We're not going to be able to get to all of them. Also tomorrow we do have Chase Hughes coming on from NBC Sports Washington. He's coming on again for the third time, so shout out to him. This is from Sad Wiz Fan, how we all feel right now on Twitter. His @name on Twitter is actually dumb_Wiz_fan. So Sad Wiz Fan, a dumb Wiz fan. He said, oh, I'm sorry. No, this is, we're going to get to his question next though, but this is from Alon Adato on Twitter. His @name is ADATOALON. He said, in your opinions, why Wes Unseld Jr. giving Spencer so many minutes without any connection to his ability on the court?
Simply put, because he's one of your top 3 paid players, and he's your big free agent acquisition, and they're not about to just stop playing him halfway into the season, coming off of an ACL injury. But for example, last night is unacceptable. It's no way he should have been finishing that game, period, or played the amount of minutes that he played. The Clippers, their guys got benched. Like Zubac, Batum, Bledsoe, Reggie Jackson, Bledsoe as well. They didn't play. Like, they weren't playing in that second half. And because they were getting crushed and didn't come out with any energy or effort, so they didn't deserve to get those minutes. And they didn't. Tyloo didn't give them those minutes. The Washington Wizards, on the opposite hand, started falling off, giving up 40 points in the third quarter. Then the lead just slipping away. And you stick with the same lineup. You continue to give minutes to Spencer Dinwiddie, who was playing horrible. You continue to give minutes to Montrezl Harrell. You continue to just give minutes to that same lineup and not put anybody else different in the game. I don't know what agenda or point Wes was trying to prove, or whoever above in the office was trying to prove, but the reason Spencer's getting minutes is because they don't want to, it's a really bad look to not give your number 1 free agent acquisition minutes like that, big minutes, because it just shows that it was a dud, and it shows that you messed up, and it shows that you were wrong.
Yeah, I think I said it yesterday. I think it's a bust signing so far. He's averaging like 12 points a game, and everybody's like, if you watch Spencer Dinwiddie before, he's not a point guard, which we obviously needed a point guard to help Bradley Beal play his best abilities. You need a point guard that can set him up, get him his shots. You see some of the point guards that he's played with in the past. When Bradley Beal was at his best, they were creating for him. They were getting him open shots. He was coming off screens, kind of like that Ray Allen role back when he was really a good shooter. He hasn't been much of a good shooter in the past couple of years, but this fit is really bad. And Brad would recruit Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie wanted to come play here. The big 3 in quotation marks: Spencer and Brad and Rui. But to get to the actual question, you hit the nail on the head there. It's about money too. Spencer was just awful. He was 1 for 7. He was slow. He was terrible defensively. He was giving up baseline. He wasn't making any shots. He was shooting bad shots. Sidestep threes at the beginning of the shot clock. He's just not playing good ball. And I brought up Brad Wanamaker. I'll bring him up again. I'd rather have Brad Wanamaker out there right now rather than Spencer Dinwiddie, because he knows his role. He knows what he's going to do. He's going to get guys open, get guys in open spots. Bradley Beal, it was one game, but that was one of Bradley Beal's better games because Brad Wanamaker had a role. He knew what he was going to do. He can go with the ball and set Bradley Beal up and play good defense. But Spencer needed to sit, man, and he's a huge reason why we lost. He's a huge reason why we lost. Part of that backcourt play in the game against the Clippers. But he's just been bad so far, and I get it, the ACL injury, but that's on Tommy Sheppard too. He's the GM. He's the one making the decisions. He should have evaluated better, knowing that a guy coming off an ACL injury would not be 100% ready. The report about them trying to sit him for the first 15 games of the year. He's not a 3-point shooter. He's more of a combo guard. He's really a 6-man. That's really what he is. That's when he was at his best with the Nets, when he was that 6-man coming off the bench with D'Angelo Russell and LeVert. And it's just not a fit. If the best that they can do with him, I think they should bring him off the bench. But it's a bust signing. And I know the chemistry could get better, but the chemistry actually sometimes it looks like it's getting even worse than what it was. It really does.
Yeah, I just can't understand how Spencer can just play so good without Brad, and then when Brad comes back, he just is really bad, like really bad. It's like night and day almost. And we went through a similar phase with Davis Bertans. We were like, why is Davis Bertans getting on these minutes? He's playing bad, etc. It's because they gave him all that money, and they got to play him because they gave him all that money. Now is more like, all right, we all know it was a bad signing, it was a bust, etc. And now we're going through that with Spencer Dinwiddie as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lastly, like you said, I mean, he clearly got coached. He got ran out of the gym by Tyronn Lue. He got ran out of the gym because, like you said, he sat down. Tyronn Lue wasn't scared to sit the guys down that didn't need to play. But yeah, we'll go back to Sad Wiz fan here. He said, when is it time to start asking questions about Tommy Sheppard? Teams that blow 35-point leads and have constant fights and rotation problems are not teams that want to compete now, in quotation marks. Bradley Beal is clearly a number 2. We treat him like a number 1.
Yeah, I think, it's interesting. And this fact has been brought up before, and this point has been brought up before as well. You talk about Bradley Beal when other teams are trying to trade for him. And this is the point that Kevin Foley in the Wizard Spaces, if you were in that the other day, guys, he brought this point up as well. He said other teams are trying to add Bradley Beal to be, like a 2 or a 3 guy. The Wizards are the only team trying to make him a number 1. And he just hasn't been that. And nobody believes that he can be a number 1 at this point. I mean, that's just the facts. Everybody's just going off of what they've seen. And what they've seen is a guy who isn't good enough to be a number 1. It's as simple as that. And Tommy Sheppard, it is time to start asking questions. Like we said, he's made okay moves. But when you look at his big moves, Davis Bertans, dud. Spencer Dinwiddie, dud. Those are 2 of your top 3 paid players right now. And Bradley Beal is having one of his worst seasons of his career right now. So those are your top 3 guys, most paid guys, bad. Like really being really bad. And once again, in a year that the Wizards themselves expect to not be a playing team and to be a competitor in some form or fashion, once again, they're looking like they may not even make the play-in tournament. It's like I said, if it wasn't for the 10-3 start, their record wouldn't look like, oh, they're just 2 games or so under 500. It would be way worse. I mean, look at last 15 games, last 10 games, you'll see the record. You see the trend. It's a downtrend. So definitely Tommy Sheppard you can ask some questions for him very much.
Yeah, he needs to be held accountable as well. We got all happy, myself included. He got an extension. He gave Gafford an extension earlier this year, which, I'm not going to say it's a questionable move. I love Gafford, but, now you can't trade him. And I feel like I love Gaff, but I feel like right now everybody needs to be on the table to be traded. So that's the only thing about that. Like, if you're not going to play him, you're not using him correctly, then you might as well use him as a trade piece because we're not even untapping the potential because he needs more play. He's a raw player. He's a player that, needs to be set up and spoon fed. But defensively, he can be really good if he doesn't foul. So we're doing him a disservice. We're doing us a disservice if we're not going to give him playing time. That's just my point, to the point where we're just so bad right now, not playing good ball, where we might as well, use him to upgrade the team. We can't even do that right now because we already gave him the extension. But I do love Gaff. And like you said, the Spencer Dinwiddie signing, a bust. Bertans, obviously a bust signing. F- signing. And Bradley Beal's a number 1. We kept asking that to all the guests that would come on. We asked Justin Kutcher that. I think we asked Chase that. We asked Karita that. We've asked every guest who has come on. We've asked that same question. And, time has told us. We kind of knew that before earlier. There's only a couple number 1s. The number 1s that I can name off the top of my head is Steph Curry, LeBron James, Giannis, Kawhi Leonard, I said Steph, Jokic, Joel Embiid is the number 1. I might be forgetting somebody, but those are the number ones. And Bradley Beal is just not on that level. He's a tier below those guys. Yes, he made All NBA, but he's just not on those guys' level to lead a team to a championship. And he's just proven that once again. Guys who are number ones do not let a Clippers second string, third string, fourth string G League affiliate team come into your own arena and beat you and come back from 35 points. Number ones just don't let that happen. I don't see Giannis letting that happen. I don't see Joel Embiid letting that happen. I don't see Steph Curry letting that happen. Kawhi, Braun. Well, Braun has let it happen, but I don't see legitimate number one guys doing that. And it's not. And he's got to finish in the clutch too. The clutch is so telling. It's so telling. The turnovers in the clutch is so telling. The fumbling the ball, backcourt violations, different things like that. He's a great player, but he's just not a number. It's okay. Not everybody's number one. Kyrie Irving is not a number one in my opinion. He's a number two. Anthony Davis is showing us that he's a number two. So there's some really, really good players that are number twos. Just because you're a number two doesn't mean you're a bad. Paul George is really a number two, to be honest with you, too. So it's not the end of the world. Klay Thompson's a number two. He's a great player, too. So it's not the end of the world. But, yeah, do you want to build your team by paying a number two max money? No, that's not the way you do things. So, but, yeah, that's the answer. That's our answer to that question. That's a good question by Sad Wiz Fan, a dumb Wiz Fan on Twitter. This is from Wizards Trash Talker. He's on Twitter at hoop_TEE_do. So hoop do. He says, can you rationalize why Daniel Gafford never plays beyond the first quarter?
I can't. I got no answers for you. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And if it's because the Wizards front office is trying to showcase the talent, that's stupid because you're losing games. You're supposed to be putting the best product on the court, the best players on the court. Daniel Gafford will start a game off with 10 points, 4 for 4, 5 for 5, and then he'll get that'll be it. And then he'll get some play at the start of the third, and then that'll be it. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. Say what you want about Daniel Gafford, and he does have his issues, but there's no excuse for him to just be playing 11 to 12 minutes a game. It's ridiculous. And then when you see games like last night, where you got Montrezl Harrell in there, but the lead is slipping away, etc., can we throw Gaff in there? I mean, he had a couple blocks. I mean, can we do something to change it up? I mean, regardless of that fact, Daniel Gafford, he should be getting more than 11 to 12 minutes a game, period. It's pathetic what they're doing right now with him, and it's criminal what they're doing right now with him and his minutes. It's really criminal, honestly.
Yeah, I think Wes answered in the presser. Somebody asked him about Gafford in the minutes. I think he said we wanted to get a different look. We wanted to see more energy. And Gaff is an energy guy. And right. Spencer Dinwiddie is really looking like a low energy guy. He can barely move. He looks like a 45-year-old guy. Like he can barely move. And he's not giving you any energy. He's playing matador defense. So the explanation just wasn't a good explanation from a coach standpoint. But, yeah, to get back to Gafford again, they have given him the Alex Len role for last year. I hate to see it. Because, I like Alex Len, of course, Maryland Terp player. I thought he provided good minutes last year, but we knew he was limited. Out of the three bigs, he was the less productive big at all three. So, obviously, we knew he was going to come in and start and go back to the bench. But Gafford, he provides more energy and just he's our best defender by far. Right. We're just not a good team defensively. So, it's unfortunate, but once, hopefully Tommy Sheppard makes a trade where, we can get some guys and get more minutes. But our next question is from Steve Nguyen. His Twitter, his @ is TETSUNGU. He says, do you think Wes Unseld Jr. is being told what rotations to run by the higher ups? He just seems too smart to leave in a lineup that blew a 35-point lead with no adjustments.
It's got to be something like that. I mean, I refuse to believe that Wes Unseld Jr. is that incompetent. I refuse to believe it. I just do. I mean, it's no way you sit there and watch your lead dwindle and you just do nothing. And you do nothing. It's no way you see Daniel Gafford, for example, start a game off strong offensively, blocking some shots, and he plays 11 minutes. It's no way that you just continue to play 12 guys and play all these guys, etc. And it makes no sense. I feel like, I mean, of course I have no inside knowledge, but I feel like Wes is being told to like, hey, showcase these guys a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but whatever he's being told, or because I really hope it's not him thinking like this is it, because it ain't it. It's resulting in the collapse of your team and the collapse of your locker room and an even bigger collapse of your fan base. I don't know what's going on over there. I really don't, but it's crazy, whatever it is.
Yeah, he clearly has a script. Even when we were winning games, it looked like he had a script too. There were some games where I thought Denny should have finished and he didn't have Denny finish, and that's why we lost. You know, having KCP in a clutch against the Nets where he didn't call it. Actually, I'm sorry, Joseph Blair coached that game. But, you know, it just looks like he has a premeditated script, and maybe that script is coming from Tommy Sheppard and Ted Leonsis. It could be because they're trying to showcase guys. They were trying to showcase Howell Neto. He was playing Howell Neto over Aaron Holiday for the longest. And that was ridiculous. And Howell Neto was just so bad to the point where they finally just had to sit him down. Aaron Holiday's not getting minutes. I think Aaron Holiday would have did better than Spencer Dinwiddie last night. Maybe Howell Neto would have. Actually, Howell Neto didn't play well last night either. But, you know, him playing Spencer Dinwiddie that amount of minutes lost you that game. And that's the adjustment he didn't make. And Tyronn Lue sat guys down. He played Kofi instead of playing Reggie Jackson. And that's what separated the two coaches there. That's a coach, Tyronn Lue, who's won a championship. And Wes Unseld Jr. is a rookie head coach. Looks like he's still learning the way, learning rotations, learning different things. He needs to learn how to draw up some inbound passes as well. Coach that up too, because that was awful. Kyle Kuzma throwing the ball. Even the one with the 1.9 seconds too, that was inexcusable too. They're just going to throw the ball, a football pass all the way down to the other side, just giving up, just throwing a white flag basically right there. It's just terrible. So it does look like the locker room is lost. I think the only thing that can really solve it is probably trading some of the guys that are not happy and just moving some guys out, you know. And this is why I don't see if we keep the team together, they probably won't make the playoffs either, because you can tell when guys just want to go home and they just want to end the season. They want to go to Cancun. And it might start to look like that pretty soon, especially after a loss like that. But it could be. There are a lot of times where GMs tell you, hey, we want to play this guy. We want to showcase this guy. We want to get Bertans in there because we want to push up his trade value. Howell Neto, they were showcasing him. There's rumors of him being shopped. Same thing with Holiday. And right now, you know, Thomas Bryant's on a minute restriction. Rui's on a minute restriction. So if they do play well, you know, it looks like the doctors are telling him they can't play 25, 30 minutes right now. So his hands are tied right now with 11-man rotation.
Yeah, this team is just ridiculous. Like, it's really ridiculous, and it's becoming a real chore to watch. And you look at I don't know if you've seen pictures of the arena yesterday. I mean, you could tell from the TV view, but it was looking empty. Like, it was looking like a capital city go-go game. You know, and people made jokes. They were saying it, and Troy Halliburton said it too. He was like, it was more people in that Wizards spaces than at the Wizards game. And that's the truth. And you can complain about the fans, etc. But until the Wizards put a watchable product out on the court, a consistent watchable product on the court, the arena is going to look like that. Like, it's going to look like that, period. Fans are not going to be coming out and spending their hard-earned money to watch teams blow 35-point leads and to let opponents drop 51 points on them and get cheered. I mean, people, you got to earn it, man. You can't just be like, oh, we're the team at this city. Like, we play here. Come watch us because we're the basketball team of this place. So you come watch us. You have to give the people a reason to watch. You give them a reason to watch consistently by giving them a consistent, good product. As simple as that.
Right. And this was the crazy thing is the opportunity to take advantage of. We had 8 home games in a row. We played lottery teams. We played the Rockets at home. We lost. We played the Blazers without Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum. We lost. Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. We lost. So we had a golden opportunity of 8 straight home games, and we lost. And now we have to go in this gauntlet of the Suns, the Bucks, the Nets. It could get ugly very quickly. It could get very, very ugly for the Washington Wizards. Like you said, I mean, said yesterday, people were 6 feet apart, and that's how many empty seats there were. It was like social distancing out there, and it's telling. It's telling. That's the part that has been on the court right now. So it's rough right now. This week coming up will be a gut check week. For all the people that left questions on Twitter, we're gonna try to answer them tomorrow. We'll try to ask Chase some of these questions too. We can all answer them together. Lloyd the Hooper, Ben Selznick on Twitter, Evan Johnson on Twitter, Matanel Barashi, Elder Moshe, and Professor Glover as well. There were a couple of No Breaks New on YouTube. There was a couple of people that left some questions. We're not able to get to them today, but we'll try to get them, answer them tomorrow. Chase Hughes is coming on, so we might answer them with Chase.
Yep, definitely. And guys, I want to thank you once again for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Now for your next listen, Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. Well, Ed, no game tomorrow. That may be a good thing, but let's talk to Chase. So let's see what the feeling like is around the building.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they had to sit in and think about this loss. And then about the Spaces is hilarious. There was a former NBA player that was basically trying to get a tryout with the Wizards.
Yeah. Man, that was crazy.
Yeah. But Wizards Nation, we'll see what happens. And thank you guys for watching through this rough patch. Make sure you guys subscribe to Locked On Wizards on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you guys subscribe to Locked On Wizards, the podcast, on all platforms as well. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.
Peace.